Hello and welcome everyone to another Saturday, April 2nd, 2022, for a Sacred Symbols reading. My name is Desiree DeMars and I'm excited to be here. I just love, it really makes my week to be able to access and communicate or channel information through the sacred symbols. So I already did a blessing and opened up the circle, made an offering, and I am going to invite you now to take a few breaths with me and to get grounded before we actually start the reading. So taking a few breaths, at least a couple, in through the nose and exhale through the mouth, so you can just relax the jaw, the head, neck, and shoulders, and allow your body to sink more deeply into the cushion, the chair that you're resting in. Allow your feet, if they're on the ground, ideally, feel grounded, feel connected to the space that you're sitting in. And then with each breath, just imagine this beautiful divine white light is coming down from the heavens and anchoring you into the core, the center of the earth, this iron molten core of the divine feminine. And just take a breath into what that really means for you when you feel grounded, connected, nurtured, tapped in, receiving vital life force from this earth. And just feel it naturally flow upward and integrate with every cell, organ, and tissue in your body. Naturally aligning with the hemoglobin or the red blood cells in your body. This too carries the element of iron. Just feel yourself aligning with that realization that this stardust that you are made of was activated, and the ability to breathe in oxygen came when this stardust, or this iron, this element of iron, collided with the planet and created an alchemical process where single cell organisms were soon able to produce chlorophyll. So allowing this exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, allowing us the power of the breath, the power of the word, the power of the frequencies that come through us, through the cosmos, through us, and out, and become expressed as words and frequency and sound. And then as you feel this energy flow up, you are activating all of your chakras so that all of our chakras are open, fully functioning, front and back, balanced and aligned. And as they are activated, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, the emotional frequencies are activated within us if we so choose to be aware of them. Joy, peace, and strength, courage at the heart, gratitude, humility, and divine love. And feel that spilling up and over like a fountain. It's eternal, infinite. This flow of energy through our toroidal field, through our central channel, just feel it flowing now, igniting all of the divine white light that we have brought in and grounded now is activated with this rainbow light that further enhances our health and vitality with the entire color spectrum of the rainbow. And we know through this activation, that even the elements that we do not see are also activated. Earth, air, fire, water, ether, plasma, the liquid light within us. I think we know now that, plasma is what the water within us is. It's not water like we're drinking. As we drink water, it too is transformed through these processes and becomes the plasma, the liquid light that is also activated through the piezoelectrical process of our bones releasing information, memory, symbols, right? Signals of divine light. Just feel the magic and the power of knowing this about the alchemy of who we are and how we are literally interfacing with the dynamics of the earth, the cosmos, our breath. And then with your imagination, I'd like you to see a golden pyramid high above your head in the field of the ethers, of the angelics, the ascended masters. Just this golden pyramid being a symbol of activation to bring this golden light, this ball of light, this stream or thread of light coming right through that central channel that has now been activated and aligned with the rainbow colors. And this golden light creates that atomic activation, this cosmic activation of the masculine, the feminine, the light and the dark, the positive and the negative electromagnetic charge within us and without us. Feel it reverberating outward into the space that you're sitting in, beyond the space, and then out into the land that our ancestors walked upon long before us, that creatures walked upon, that made our life possible by their recycling, by their releasing their life force into the earth, this energy through fossils and all kinds of life forms, plants and animals have gone before us, including our ancestors. So with that activation, that understanding, let's just take a breath of recognition for our ancestors. All those who've gone before us, lived a good life and transcended, and are now here represented in the sacred symbols to bring a clear and concise message to us today. So, all of your ancestors behind you. Ooh. That's it. I have never had that happen before. Something flew right out of the basket. I have some openings in the top of the basket here. Wow, that's interesting. I'll talk about that when we get to the look at the cloth. But for a moment, go back to the intention that you would like to receive. What kind of information, what kind of healing, what kind of understanding. What is your inquiry today? And then take 3 deep breaths, blowing into the basket along with me. Infusing the bones and the symbols with this inquiry. See what kind of message we are receiving. I'm going to tip the screen down right now so you can actually see this. Let me tip that back up a little bit to get a good view without the computer. Okay, well, that was interesting. All right, to start, it was interesting just to, I'm going to tip this up a little today. This is the piece that flew out. It's only volition. I don't know how it did that actually. Look, due to the shape of it, it's actually what's called a pointer. So it's just giving us direction. And maybe that's really was its message. Look, it's pointing toward you. If you were having a one-on-one reading with me in person, you would be sitting here and you would see this pointer facing towards you. And one of the key pieces that it is in relationship with here today is Father. So, Father, the heart, passion, another pointer, practically, I think, touching this piece about passion. Let's see. Passion on the spiritual path, and here's the mother. So interesting. Father, mother, grandfather on your mother's side. This is your grandfather on your mother's side, the maternal lineage. And heart chakra, third chakra, third eye, and the key. So it's interesting, this little line here. Also, the ascended masters there, and it's touching into, of course, our circle here. But key points. Just keep that in mind. The heart chakra. There's something key about the heart chakra and our mother and father today. And something about our own passion. Maybe it's about, I know astrologically a lot's going on around this idea of completion. It's an Aries, New Moon that started the 31st or the 1st. I'm going to tip this up a little bit. There you go. Just give me some support with getting a better angle here. Let's see. So what else? What else can we see here? So that was just an interesting introduction today, or first step, a pointer. Just notice what's going on for you around the idea of father, or a father-like figure in your life, your mother. Because then there's something, this idea of the passion is here around the grandfather on your mother's side, your mother's father. So that's fascinating. So going to where I would originally start to look is the inquiry here. This piece of coral, I just love it. Like reaching out, asking for guidance. And there's a lot here. I noticed that there was a lot of energy right in here and here, this is fascinating. The pieces didn't want to come out. Often they just kind of flow out. Today, things wanted to kind of come in small groupings. And so this inquiry, it's close to the center. This is what I'm noticing first. It's touching on the hand. So what's going on? Maybe some kind of physical release. And also frog, which, I call him kind of the canary in the coal mine, but he's also about collective evolution. And or this idea that we're ascending, we're evolving, and that he's amphibious, right? He can breathe on land or in the water. So just taking those characteristics in mind, when you think of your inquiry. And notice what might be going on here behind the veil. So there's something a little veiled about community. This is all about community, this little piece of elk horn. This shell is all about kind of what is not fully seen right now. Or sometimes I see it as, we're looking right at something. We can't figure things out. We can't understand it. It's right in front of us. But it's as if there's this veil that is just keeping us from having full conscious awareness about it. So we have an ancient ancestors, one of the masculine, the male. Is it male or female? Let me see. Oh no, it's the feminine. So that's interesting. The ancient ones, the ancient women in your ancestral lineage, that's touching community. So the ancient women, or even to date, if you were to say the women in your community that, you know, are attuned to their ancestral lineage, that are we're all carrying our ancestral lineage through our DNA, of course. And also, we know now that the DNA is not only because it's physical, but also somewhat, and maybe more so, influenced by our surroundings, the emotional charges, right? And this is interesting. So let me see here. Oh, beautiful. So we have the ancient ones, the women. Did I say women? I meant men. So here's the ancient ones, the women, the ancient women in your lineage, and the ancient men, mother's side, right? The maternal ancient ones, both masculine and feminine. So fascinating that the feminine ended up on the left side, the masculine ended up on the right side, which we usually associate, you know, with the positive and negative charge. The masculine, the feminine being negative, the masculine being positive on the right, feminine on the left. So fascinating. And there's something about this idea of time. So, you know, I'm feeling this feels really, something feels like really altered today. I can't describe it. Maybe as we go through the pieces, I'll get a better sense of it. But so there's something about time, and then this eternal connection. Here's the Celtic knot within the heart. You know, this is again that masculine and feminine that popped in at the very beginning. And the pointer was saying, you know, look at the passion that was there, the love, the passion that connects the masculine and the feminine. There's something really key and important about that for our heart today. Our heart and our third eye, in order to see more deeply, to see in another dimension possibly, or another perspective. You know, we need to use the third eye to really see clearly. So this is beautiful. The inquiry is kind of opening up to all these pieces that wanted to kind of stick together. So I'm kind of looking at them as a unit. And then they have this beautiful curve. And then here is the other aspect that was really strange, that didn't want to come out of the basket. And all these pieces kind of stuck together. So what are they saying? Because this has created a very interesting configuration. So you can see this coin is up on its side, which it normally could not do unless it was leaning up against something. And then here is a dice with the number 4 and a young one on your mother's side right there. So there's something about 4, the stability, the structure, new structures coming in. Here's the great ones on your father's side, the great great grandparents, and the great 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 and the great 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 greats, right? There they are with their wisdom, their insight, really close to Frog, too. They're bringing in, it's like there's something about the ancient ones, the great great wise ones, bringing in something new, and the old is needing to be released. And let's see what this coin is. And the coin, oh, it's Venus. How beautiful. So we have this energy of Venus saying, what is it that you absolutely love? What do you see as truth, love, beauty? These higher, what do you hold in the higher values? Not so much the physical, material, but in higher philosophy or higher understanding of truth, love, and beauty. And because this is a part of what is going on with our transfiguration right now, there's an aspect on our spiritual path that we need to take some time for reflection. And this is so that we have clear understanding about our vision, right? This is the eye of God. So interesting, and it's open. It's open. It's saying like, open your eyes, open up, or deepen your perspective of what is happening through this transition, meaning I believe from what I see so far is about the masculine and the feminine. And as we move around the circle here, here is the other timekeeper, which is interesting. So something's moving kind of quickly, which is in alignment with, I was just listening to some astrology, a couple of my favorite astrologers, Pam Gregory and Molly McCord. And Pam was saying, this is Aries, the beginning of the astrological cycle, this Aries new moon. So it's the perfect time to clarify, refine the vision, and know things are moving quickly because Aries wants to move forward. Aries, it's like the mind, the mental, the spring into action, right? And here we have beautiful mind, balance of mind, the element of mind, and it's the earth on it. So it's about, it's not the earth, but the earth itself, earth, the grounding, right? The element of earth. So grounding the mind, right? Because things are moving quickly. So we want the mind to be grounded. And then this piece, I want to backtrack a little because I went over it, but part of this reflection is really about home, right? I think this is the message here. It's like the very tip of a deer toe saying, there's an aspect of innocence, maybe this return to this childlike part of ourself, our own innocence, our original masculine and feminine within us, right? And it's about the home. And home, of course, is represented within us in this element of masculine and feminine within, right? So take time for some introspection this week. Here you are resting on drum, sitting next to bear claw, and on top of bear is the throat chakra, and alongside of bear is the divine feminine. And then touching the divine feminine, we have Buddha here with his third eye open. So it's like the message I'm getting is about, there's potency, there's importance in introspection, tapping into what is in within our own heart's desire, and then speaking that, and then expressing it or writing it even, so that the seed is planted, right? It's made manifest, which happened to be what came through this month for the theme of my newsletter. And you might want to check that out on DesireeDemars.com. Is my newsletter is all about planting seeds, but planting seeds, not so much, I'm getting chills just saying it, about planting seed in a literal sense in the ground. Yes, spring is time to do that. But it's also about looking at the greater picture of planting seeds from a really deep ancestral, how could I say this, like a deep ancestral treasure trove, right? A deep ancestral collection, or yeah, like a treasure. I just hear this word treasure. So it's like the treasures of the ancient ones that came before us and who we are a part of. But you'll see if you go to the newsletter, you can read a little bit more details. This kind of ties into what I was talking about in the introduction with the Golden Pyramid, and this idea of the Akash, this infinite record, the Akashic Records. There's an incredible show on Gaia, and I mentioned this, and a young man named Matias De Stephanos, who recalled at a very young age many of his lives, and due to his memory being really free and open of his Akashic records. So I loved one of his episodes. He talks about the golden pyramids representing the star nations. So let's see where the star nations is. Okay, so star nations is over here on the other side. It's about this cosmic blueprint that's unfolding through us, right? And here's the shaman. Yeah, through our bodies, which is really fascinating because I didn't get a chance to read the whole article. I will be integrating what I'm going to share with you now in my meetup, which is coming up a couple weeks with Soma Tribe or Soma. It's through a meetup that I do where I do an ancestral recode every month. And so this is the body, it's like the ancestral recode of the super ancient ones, the ones who came before even the physical form. And these pyramids were created because those before us that were more attuned to nature and the natural cycles knew that, right? And so these pyramids line up with Sirius, Orion, and the Pleiades. And I believe it is Peru, China, and where is the other pyramid? In Egypt. And so it's worth looking at the diagram. There was a beautiful diagram, and I screenshot it and included it in the newsletter so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about there. So this beautifully plays into the theme of planting seeds, but it's the Sirians that were believed to have been the seed planters of life forms, of some of the original life forms that are here on Earth. Now, I love that, of course, because I really resonate with coming from or being from Sirius. That was shown to me in a shamanic initiation, and I got a huge download when I was exploring this idea of or inquiring before the initiation about where is the source from which I came. And I got a big download about Sirius and being from Sirius. And now throughout my life, I say over 25 years have passed, and I still to this day get downloads about more details and how that is related to my life experiences. It's very powerful. So, and that's something I would encourage people to do is through hypnotherapy or any kind of practice they know of like that, to go into diving deep into some kind of past life regression work, however that feels right for you. I'm a BQH hypnotist myself and have just had amazing ahas from that. And sure enough, as I said, here's the shaman, and here is this idea of the DNA, right? So through the DNA, the Sirians, who were the seed planters for this planet Earth, right? Yeah, part of the rebirth. So this is part of the rebirth we're going through, right, in this process as things are falling apart. So actually, I would say, the energy is kind of flowing out this way in a spiral from the inquiry out. So I've kind of jumped all over the board today, but this is really amazing. Back to this piece here, kind of behind the inquiry, which would be the pieces that are about the vision coming around to, clarity of vision. So this makes sense. So let me almost start over here. If we were looking at the inquiry and what's coming through here, it's this beautiful alignment or this idea of saying, pointing us in the right direction, masculine and feminine, right? Our power to tap into this greater power. We want to be in resonance, right? In resonance with the heart. And we know through heart math, years and years of research, that the heart field has a much greater electromagnetic field, much greater than the brain, right? That's really what's running the show. So this is why when we say divine love or tapping into love, love is all there is, or love is, what we all are striving for, to be in a higher resonance of love as much as we can. And that's why, because that is what magnetizes things to us. It magnetizes what we are passionate, right? Or what we're in parallel with, right? It brings into balance the masculine and feminine. It's the key. It's the key to everything. So let's do a little scouting here and see if that's what the key is saying. Where is the lock? Now, sometimes it just disappears. Oh, here it is. It's pretty obvious today. I'm directly across from it on the circle. So the lock is saying, wow, dive in. Here's horse moving in toward the lock. Yeah, it's like the only way out is through. So whatever it is that you feel challenged with this week, or are feeling this sense of, and even in the global picture of things, the bigger picture, that there's still, which I know astrologically there are, even though we have all this Aryan energy and it's the spring and it's the new beginning of the whole astrological year, there are sometimes, there's things that just naturally ask us to go within and slow down and be really clear. Something about clarity too. So here's the moon, and it's so beautiful. This is the side of the new moon. The full moon's on the other side. And, as I said, here this seems important, moving toward dive in. Let's just dive into what it is that seems to block or lock or constrict or restrict us from moving forward in our life, from manifesting our dreams, our vision, because that's where we're moving toward, right? We're heading toward this idea of attuning to the heart. This is drum and heartbeat. I mentioned that a minute ago. But really tune into your heart. And this little heart here is also about soul retrieval or soul remembering, about remembering who we really are, right? Who we really are. This is interesting too. This is your grandmother on your mother's side, right next to this piece called a fork in the road, right? This bone that represents the fork in the road. And here's our first chakra, and then above the crown chakra. So interesting. And here again is another piece that represents the home, kind of the magic in a home, or the magic of being home, or understanding what home is. And so how fascinating that we have our base chakra and then kind of our angelic chakras, right? Here, touching the base of this little house. You probably can't see this clearly. I didn't bring the light in today that I usually have, but this little house here, this image of a house, the square base and the pointy roof, is about wishing. Make a wish, because wishes are frequencies, right? And wishes right now are going to bring in nurture and sustenance. This is buffalo, right? Buffalo tooth. Buffalo is the provider, right? For what it is we're looking for. And this is the wish coin. So it's about making a wish, tapping into the innocence of that childlike aspect of ourself that is really aligned with our true nature, true divine union with the heart, right? And bringing that into the world, because it is the work. We came into this lifetime in these crazy times for this reason, to be at this cutting edge, this step forward, right? A new earth. A new earth. And this is Pluto saying, yeah, bam. A new earth, whether you want it or not, in your mind or not. But there's something powerful in these times that it's the medicine. This is Dragon's Blood was all about, being your own medicine, or finding the medicine that you need, whether it's the internal guidance that you get or magnetizing to you somebody that will bring forth what it is that will help you rebalance, help you heal, help you move forward in your life. And dive into whatever it is that's showing up as a challenge right now, because that's going to be what sets you free, right? That's going to open the doors of opportunity and understanding. And I can't help but notice that, this little Celtic heart, and then this little heart-shaped stone here is all about protection. Know you are divinely protected. This aspect of things really is getting zapped right now by the sun, as there's the sun. This is about abundance. And this is Neptune. So again, kind of mirroring this idea of this veil, but the veil is thin. The veil is thin right now. It's just a matter of shifting our awareness. I know in my mediumship practice, which I've just started to do another advanced level of that, which I absolutely adore and love with my mentor, Suzanne Giesman. And I'm doing that through the Shift Network. This is, it's all about taking a breath and just having intention and being able to shift our awareness to the other side across the veil so that we can communicate with our loved ones, right? Or the energies that reside just a step away, just a thin shade, just a light, just a very thin, fine line, right, between the magic and us. Just one step away. And we can take that one step through our imagination first, right? Having the vision, being grounded, but having the greater vision. And then being in innocence, right? Being in innocence. Truth, love, and beauty. What does it mean for you? And really grounding yourself, creating a foundation of truth, love, and beauty of your highest values, right? And what's right here in front of me is Pachamama. Pachamama. Honor the earth, honor the feminine that provides for us all. And this is the crown chakra, right? So we've got the crown, we've got the other. If you have a loved one or another you've been working with, or you're married, or you have a partnership, there are these greater influences out there. Or sometimes I look at like there being the container kind of holding space, our power spot within us, our third chakra, right? Just beautiful, beautiful spiral. And very interesting interplay of pieces today. Yeah, I just love it. Love it. So with that said, I know there's so much. I could get into a lot of finer details, but I hate to make these readings too long. I'd like to keep them short. So if I hope some of that resonated with you. And I hope that it brought some insight, wisdom, or understanding, or maybe it planted a seed, right? Maybe it planted a seed for you. Let me tap the screen back up. Okay, maybe it planted a seed for you today of just something new, something that you never knew, something that you're just getting a little taste of, understanding. And something that piqued your interest that you want to tap into even more deeply. That is planting a seed and then trusting and allowing that seed to grow, to inform you, to come into fruition. So, my friends, thank you for joining me again. And I'll post some information as usual below the video so that you can link into some of the things I mentioned, like the meetup and some of the material that I'll be covering in the Ancestral Recode. I think it's going to be pretty fascinating because I think I just touched on it a little, that I started to read an article about, I believe, the completion of our DNA, the DNA map has been done. So I'll have to read more about it. I'm going to integrate that into the meetup around the Ancestral Recode coming up in a couple weeks through Soma Tribe, which you can join. And it's a group in the Northwest, in the Portland area, I believe it is, and a community there that I am a part of through my Magnetic Mind coaching training. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And With the next few breaths, I'm going to just close the circle so you can close your eyes. And just take all that was said in. Oh, and I'll also be just touching on symbols. Some brain research that have been done on zebrafish and symbols, which is all about biomimicry, how nature mimics or reflects to us these cycles and patterns and symbols that actually are the key to unlocking. I would go so far as saying unlocking the dynamics, the understanding and the dynamics of interactions of all of the elements on this beautiful planet, this beautiful blue marble that we live on. So with another breath, I'm going to close the circle with a little bit of rattling so you can join me there. And just being open, our hearts open with gratitude and appreciation for this opportunity of a sacred symbols reading. And I hope it brings some enlightenment into your life. Aho. Thanks for joining me, everyone. See you next week.